Okay. Sorry about the confusion with the start time. When I was scheduling it, I forgot to put in 5 p.m. But yeah, we're back. We're back. We're talking about Falcon Winter Soldier Episode 2 today. So yeah, I've had a fun couple of days. Had to drop off my car at the body shop and then walk back because I just paid for surgery out of pocket. I'm not paying for a damn rental car. Also, I was planning to do a review of Godzilla vs. Kong, which I thought was coming out on the 25th, but apparently it's not. There's a lot of confusion about when the release date actually is. First it was the 25th, some people said it was the 26th, then they said it was the 27th. Now I think it's on the 31st, but I'm honestly not sure. Might be the 31st, might be something else. So that's what I thought I was doing this week instead of the Superman and Lois review, but apparently not. So I guess that'll be coming next week. I already made the thumbnail for it, so that was fun. So that'll be next week, if it's released on the 31st, which I'm not sure about. Because everywhere I look, someone's saying something different about that. But we're talking about Falcon Winter Soldier today. You guys know the drill by now. I will talk about the episode first. I'll go through everything, give my thoughts, and then we'll do comments and super chats at the end. And, this is your usual spoiler warning. I'm going to go through everything. I'm going to spoil everything. That's just how we do things here. Because I kind of got in the habit of that with the Batwoman reviews. Anywho, how's it going? Good. Alright. Alright, you can hear me? Okay, cool. Alright, Falcon Winter Soldier, Episode 2. This is a weird show, I have to say. There are aspects of it that I like. Mainly the ones on display when the show is about what I thought it was going to be about. But it's also about other things that feel like unnecessary and awkward. And it also seems to be trying to get woke at times, which people don't have a lot of patience for these days. I don't know what they're doing, but I want to see them be more focused because they've got a good story here. But they have a habit of getting sidetracked, and that's when you can see the cracks forming. So it begins with John Walker. He's in a football locker room. He seems nervous about what he's about to do. Tells his girlfriend that everyone expects him to be something. They expect him to be something, and he doesn't want to fail them. He's practicing greeting people as Captain America. He's awkward with it. He just wants to do the job without all the handshakes and the Senate meetings and the PR stuff. But his soldier buddy encourages him, so he unzips the costume and he gets to work. And I like this scene. John Walker comes off as a likable guy who just wants to do good. Doesn't seem to have an ego about him. That doesn't last long, but he comes off well here. So he's making an appearance at a football game at his old high school. Signing autographs, making a speech. He's already a celebrity. So he's being interviewed on Good Morning America. So he acts humble about the whole thing, but the interviewer lists off his stats, his accomplishments, and he sounds too good to be true. 3 Medals of Honor, stellar military record. He tested off the charts with the shield and so on and so forth. He doesn't have super strength, though, so no powers. He's not a super soldier, at least not yet. But he says he modeled himself after Captain America. He admired him, thinks of him as a brother, even though they never met. This does not sit well with Bucky, of course, who's watching this on TV, and he doesn't look happy. Meanwhile, Sam is getting ready to leave on a mission, so Bucky shows up. He says that Sam shouldn't have given up the shield. This isn't what Steve wanted. Sam says it broke his heart to see that, but he's got bigger things to worry about right now, and he shows Bucky that picture of the Flag Smasher guy from the last episode. And Sam's going to Munich to check this dude out and thinks he might be one of the big three: android, aliens, wizards. They always seem to be fighting one of those. Bucky thinks that's kind of dumb, but he goes along with them. He goes along with Sam on this one. So on the plane, they bicker about whether or not Sam has a plan. Sam says he does have a plan, but he jumps out of the plane without telling Bucky what the plan is. So Bucky jumps out of the plane too, without a parachute like Steve did in Winter Soldier. I like that callback. He makes a really ungraceful landing, of course, smashes a bunch of trees on the way down. Sam got this all on camera, of course. I'm sure he'll break that out at a very embarrassing moment. Maybe at Bucky's birthday. So they make their way to an old warehouse where Red Wing finds people smuggling weapons, or something or other. Bucky wants to take them out. Sam wants to wait and see where they're going. These people are lifting super heavy stuff, so they all seem to be enhanced. So they're going to follow them. But as the bad guys start to leave and Sam detects something in the truck, thinks it's a hostage. And there's a lot of bickering between these two. Even when they're trying not to be detected, when they're hiding, they're still bickering, throwing jabs at each other, arguing about what they should do. And they're obviously trying to play up that dynamic they had in Civil War, which was funny and entertaining, but it's so much more dialed up now. Like in Civil War, it was just a little bit of funny banter during a fight scene. Now it's just non-stop. They're just going at each other over and over and over. And I don't think there's as much mileage in this as they think there is. So the trucks start to leave. Bucky runs after them, catches one of the trucks on foot, and breaks in. He finds that these guys are not smuggling weapons, but medicine. He finds what they thought was the hostage. It's a girl. She's the one from the trailer. And she just kicks him right out of the truck. And this leads to a fight scene on top of one of the trucks. Bucky is just getting overwhelmed here. The girl grabs Red Wing right out of the air, breaks it. Sam flies in, but he gets his ass kicked too. So they're both in trouble when the new Captain America flies in a helicopter with his buddy from before, Lamar Hoskins, to even the odds. And he gets the patriotic entrance music and everything. Gets off to a good start, doesn't last long. So Bucky gets kicked off the truck. He's hanging out at the bottom. Sam saves him, but they both get knocked into a field. And then they're literally rolling around in a field of flowers and wind up on top of each other. What the... Alright, this was not subtle at all. Alright, this was staged in... This was staged very deliberately. Like, they knew what they were doing here, and it was intentional. Hey, let's take the two straight characters and do some gay subtext. What I'm not sure about is if this was done for comedy or wokeness reasons. Either way, it's really, really awkward. So Bucky says these dudes were all super soldiers. Good. Okay, that's interesting. Let's focus on that, please. So back at the fight, Lamar gets kicked off the truck. John saves him by throwing the shield under him so he skids away. So despite not being a super soldier, he's still like uncommonly good with the shield. Then he tries to deliver a badass line and fight the girl on his own, but that doesn't go well for him. She just knocks him off the truck and he lands on a car windshield and destroys it, somehow not injuring himself in the process. He just gets right back up, but he's not powered. He doesn't have super strength or anything, so he really shouldn't have. That should have messed him up way more than it did. So later on, Sam and Bucky are walking. John and Lamar roll up in a Jeep. They offer them a ride. John wants them to work together, but they don't want to. But it's 20 miles to the airport, so they get a ride. John and Lamar didn't track the Flag Smashers. They tracked Sam through Red Wing. Because it's government property, they work for the government, so that checks out. John explains that the GRC, that's the Global Repatriation Council, are trying to get everything back up and running post-blip, reactivating citizenships, healthcare, etc. And the GRC provide the resources, and then guys like them keep things stable from getting out of hand. And John suggests that Sam and Bucky join up with them. Neither of them like this idea, and upon hearing Lamar's code name is Battlestar, Bucky just says stop the car and he gets out. Unless Lamar plans on putting Galactica at the end of that name, I'd get out too. Because that's a silly name. John tells Sam that he's not trying to replace Steve Rogers, just trying to be the best Captain America he can be, and it would be a lot easier with Cap's wingman at his side, and then Sam gets out too. So John seems like a good guy, but there are subtle signs here of a different attitude emerging. He assumes that Steve's wingman should be his wingman too, when Sam is the proven superhero in this situation, not him. They don't go overboard with it just yet, but you can see where it's going. So, the Flag Smashers meet a guy at a safe house. This guy really looks up to them. He calls them freedom fighters. He made them food. He gave them a place to sleep. So, it's not as simple as them just being dangerous extremists. They've got supporters out there. The girl gets a text, "You took what was mine. I'm going to find you and kill you." Don't know what that's about yet. I'm assuming she took whatever made them super soldiers, but we don't know. Then one of the guys gets on the computer and starts wiping their aliases of any public transportation sites. And we see the girl's name on the computer. I guess they're on like government watch lists or something. And her name is Carly Morgenthau. So this is a gender-swapped version of the Marvel character Carl Morgenthau, the Flag Smasher. I don't really have an issue with the gender swapping. It's a minor character. It's not really a big deal. But it does continue to reveal like a slightly woke agenda that the writers may have gone into this thing with. So it's something to keep an eye on. Anyway, Carly says they don't want the same assholes who were in power before the blip to come back and be in charge again. And the GRC care more about the people who got snapped than the ones who never left. Oh yeah, imagine that, caring more about people who need help than people who don't. It's crazy. Those bastards. She wants to know if everyone here is committed, because tomorrow there's no turning back. They're all committed, so yay, good for them. Back on the plane, Bucky thinks they should just take the shield from Walker and do this themselves. Sam points out that the last time they tried that, Sharon got screwed over and him and Steve were on the run for 2 years. Also, they just got their asses kicked by super soldiers and have nothing to show for it. So, might be a little more complicated. But Bucky thinks that's not entirely true, and there's someone Sam should meet. So we cut to Baltimore, and there's a kid on the street, and we have a super chat. I will get to you as soon as I'm done with the recap. Thank you. Back up, we're on the streets in Baltimore, and a kid on the street recognizes Sam and calls him Black Falcon. Because that's what his dad calls him, Black Falcon. Sam's like, no, it's just Falcon. What's your name? Is your name Black Kid? See, they play it in a jokey way, but it still feels forced. Why do we need this? Like, Black Falcon? Why? So they arrive at a house, they knock on the door. Some kid answers, and they ask for Isaiah. Tell him the guy from Goyang is here, says Bucky. Him and Bucky had a skirmish during the Korean War. The military sent a bunch of people after Bucky. Isaiah was the only one who came back and took half of Bucky's metal arm with him. This is Isaiah Bradley, which means that the kid is probably Patriot from the Young Avengers. And I'm actually quite impressed with the way they've been planting seeds for that. Like, they're taking a lot of steps to set up that project. And it's not even that big a title, really. You know, we see Stature and Ant-Man and Wiccan and Speed show up in WandaVision. Patriot here. We got Kate Bishop coming up later in the Hawkeye show. All before they actually get their own show or their own movie or whatever that's going to be. So when that happens, you're already going to be familiar with these people. And it's going to be so much more effective than if you just drop them in there cold with no setup, like they did in Suicide Squad, for example. Now imagine if Suicide Squad had been set up that way, like you knew all those characters previously because they'd appeared in other movies prior to this before getting their own movie. Don't you think that would have worked better? But no, they just had them all appear for the first time in that movie. Even Harley Quinn, who you'd think would have appeared in a Batman movie prior to that, but no. Don't get me started. Anyway, Isaiah is not thrilled to see Bucky. Needless to say, Bucky says he's not a killer anymore, but Isaiah thinks you can't just wake up and decide who you want to be. Maybe Bucky can, but he can't. So there's a lot of resentment here. Bucky says there's more of him and Isaiah out there, and they need to know how. So maybe Isaiah can help them out, but Isaiah's not having this. He gets angry. He throws a cigar case through the wall. And he says, for being a hero, they put him in jail for 30 years, running tests, taking his blood, and, even your people weren't done with me, he says. So he yells at them to get out. He's just not having this. And then the really awkward bit of the episode. Sam is angry that there was a black super soldier decades ago and nobody knew about it. I'm kind of curious about where all these super soldiers are popping up from when, the whole bit was with Cap is that they couldn't duplicate the procedure. And, Bruce Banner's retconned origin is that he was trying to duplicate the super soldier serum and he did it with gamma rays and tested it on himself. But apparently other people worked out the super soldier thing long before Banner ever tried it. So what happened there? Sam isn't happy about that. He's angry. He's upset. They start arguing because Bucky didn't tell anyone, not even Steve. Then the cops show up. And they ask for Sam's ID. Sam didn't do anything. They're just having a conversation. They're yelling a little bit, but so what? They ask Bucky if Sam is bothering him. Oh my God, are we seriously doing this? Look, I tuned in to watch a superhero show about how Captain America's friends deal with his legacy after he's gone. I was expecting some action, some buddy cop stuff, some funny banter. Why is this social commentary about racism necessary? Where is this even coming from? Anyway, the cops finally recognize Sam and they apologize. Bucky says he didn't tell anyone about Isaiah because he'd been through enough already. Then the cops arrest Bucky because there's a warrant out for his arrest since he missed his court-mandated therapy. So the white guy gets arrested who did nothing wrong. Yeah, he gets arrested instead of the black guy. Yeah, I see what you did there, writers. Yeah, let's arrest the white guy instead. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're doing. Bucky's therapist, Dr. Rayner, meets Sam at the police station. Bucky's being released, but she didn't get him out. John Walker did, under the assumption that Bucky's going to work with him now. He's too valuable of an asset to keep locked up, so you do whatever you've got to do, and then send him off to me. We've got unfinished business, him and I. You too, Wilson. So the condition of Bucky's release is him and Sam both take a therapy session right now while John Walker's waiting outside, because he just assumes they're going to work with him now. And time for more weird gay subtext. Oh boy. Rayner makes them do couples counseling. Or something she does with couples anyway. And again, this is not subtle in the least. Rayner has them do this soul gaze thing where they get up real close in each other's business and stare into each other's eyes. And so they're like face to face. They're facing each other, and they got to do this thing where they get up and real close. They're literally have their knees in each other's crotch at this point. Like, holy shit, how in your face do you want this subtext to be? I think it's supposed to be funny, but it's just weird. Anyway, so it just turns into a staring contest. Rayner gets irritated and just point blank asks Bucky why Sam aggravates him so much. And suddenly it gets good again, because they get back on track. Bucky asks Sam why he gave up the shield. Steve trusted you. He believed in you. That shield is his legacy, and you threw it away like it was nothing. So maybe Steve was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, then that means he was wrong about me. So Bucky sees Sam giving up the shield as Steve misjudging Sam. So maybe that means that when Sam thought Bucky was worth saving, he misjudged Bucky too. Okay. This is interesting. This is good character stuff. This is what I'm here for. Why can't we focus more on this? Why are we doing the gay subtext and the racial stuff? Did people really think that's what fans were tuning in for? I don't know. Sam says he just did what he thought was right. Could have given more of an explanation there. I think there is more of an explanation. We haven't gotten it yet. And I'm hoping the real explanation won't be a racial thing. If Sam just felt unworthy of the shield, that's fine. There's no need to make it uncomfortable. Anyway, so Sam says they don't have time for this. They'll go deal with their shit. Then they'll go on separate long vacations and never see each other again. Bucky's cool with that. So Sam leaves, but before Bucky leaves, Raynor has to remind him about rule number 2, don't hurt anyone. Ha ha. So outside, John Walker talks to them. He identifies Carly as the leader of the Flag Smashers. They think she's taken the medicine she stole to one of the camps across Europe where the Flag Smasher insignia is popping up. They don't know which one just yet. And Bucky still resents the hell about John. Resents the hell out of him, and he isn't shy about it, so things get a little tense here. Sam says John and Lamar have rules of engagement and authorizations to get, but Sam and Bucky are free agents and more flexible, so it doesn't make sense for them to work together. And that raises a weird question. If Sam is a free agent, but the Falcon suit is government property, then how does Sam still get to use it? I don't know. A word of advice then, says Walker. Stay the hell out of my way. So Walker's very quickly turning into a self-entitled brat. That ego is growing by the minute, it seems. It's happening even faster than I thought it would. Okay, so over at Slovakia, the Flag Smashers are loading a plane. One guy gets a text and says they have to move out now because the power brokers men are moving in. One guy stays behind to cover their escape while the rest take off, so he pushes a telephone pole down and stops the cars, and then he gets gunned down for his trouble. And back at Baltimore, Bucky tells Sam that when Isaiah said his people, he meant Hydra. You sure about that, Bucky? That's not how it came off. Just saying. So anyway, there's someone who might know something about this. Someone who knows all of Hydra's dirty secrets. They're going to go see Zemo, which, after Civil War, is going to be a pretty loaded confrontation. And that's where it ends for now. One thing is very clear about this after this episode. I like both characters, but neither of them are Steve Rogers. Now, there is a good story to be told about that, with neither of them... Well, with both of them trying to live up to Steve's legacy and neither of them feeling worthy of it, basically. That's the show I thought this was going to be, with a little buddy cop stuff thrown in for fun. When the show tries to be about that, when it tries to tell that story and just focuses on action and super soldiers and character stuff, then it's a good show. But that's not always what it's about. That's not always the story they're telling. Because they're also trying to insert weird social commentary and racial politics that feel like they were added very clumsily, and they don't really fit in with everything else. And then there's the inexplicable gay subtext. What the hell is going on there? What are they doing with that? Like, talk about feeling out of place. Could the writers just not stand the fact that they had to make a show about two straight dudes? Or do they think this is funny somehow? It's not. It's weird and awkward and out of place. Stop it. Look, I want to like this show. I do. And I do like it when it's about what it's supposed to be about. But it seems like the writers keep getting tempted to make it about something else. To make it about other stuff. That's where my issue is. So I don't know if the producers need to get the writers in line, or... maybe the producers had some kind of agenda too. I don't know what's going on, but I just want the show to be about what it looked like it was about in the trailer. That's all I'm asking. Alright, so, Blood8270, thank you for the super chat. I admire the fact that you can watch this nonsense for me, thank you. wouldn't really call it nonsense. I mean, I am enjoying it for the most part. I just have some issues with the politics seeping in and stuff. Okay. The Macy's bag, yeah. I bought a new jacket a couple months ago, and suddenly it's too warm to wear it. Where it's kind of feels like we skipped right over spring and just went right to summer. So maybe eventually I'll get a chance to wear it. Sty Games, thank you for the super chat. I hated how they went from portraying the new Cap as flawed but good at the start to a possible main villain at the end. When did subtlety die? Well, they don't really have that many episodes. I'm assuming it's going to be like 7 or 8 episodes, so they kind of got to get the plot moving. I looked at the Marvel Wiki about U.S. Agent and Battlestar, and there's a story there with the power brokers, so I'm assuming that those two are going to go through the super soldier treatment and become super soldiers themselves at some point. So, I mean, we kind of got to get them to a certain place. We can't develop the guy too slowly. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I mean, it does feel like it's happening pretty quickly, but we don't know how much story they got to get through before they do that turn. Now, you look like you watched Batwoman. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of disheveled. My body clock is really messed up right now. Like I'll be up very late. I was up late watching this and taking notes on it, and then I'll sleep late. I always try to get up early. Never quite manage it unless I have an appointment or something. Musa's Descended. Thank you for the $4.99. I'm almost certain they're going to reveal that Sam didn't want the shield for racial reasons. I wanted them to play into that boat legacy thing, but I don't know if they... Yeah, that's where it ends. Yeah, I really hope it's not racial reasons. I have a feeling that racial reasons may be what motivates Sam to take the shield up. Because of all the stuff that happened with Isaiah. Maybe Sam thinks he can set an example, or maybe give people like a black superhero, a black Captain America to look up to, and it's like, do we have to make it about that? I mean, I get that there's an issue there, but do we really have to make it about that? I mean, it's just, can it just be, Cap's friend and sidekick taking up the mantle and trying to honor his friend? Do we have to make it about all that other stuff? I don't know. Joe Kashi 13, thank you for the $5. As a resident of Baltimore, I will give them credit for how the neighborhood looks. It's a fairly accurate question. It's a fairly accurate question. How would you use Isaiah? Oh, well, maybe they just filmed it in Baltimore. They could have, for all I know. How would you use Isaiah? God, boy. I'm not terribly familiar with the character because I didn't read the Young Avengers comics. So I don't know much about Isaiah outside of what I saw on Marvel Wiki. Because I would prefer they not get into the racial politics, but that seems kind of ingrained in this character because I guess he got screwed over for reasons like that. Because, I mean, it was a different time when he was made into a super soldier, and the world was a different place. And I guess, yeah, he really did get screwed over. Put in prison for 30 years? Why? Did he commit a crime? I'm not sure. Did they just want to run tests on him for that long? I mean, I'd like to get more information on him first. And I guess it seems inevitable that he's going to have, that him and Sam are going to have a conversation about that stuff, and that's probably going to be motivating Sam somehow. I would prefer they not go in that direction. Because like all the racial politics, they feel like weirdly shoehorned in right now. So it's not something I'm watching the show for. I don't think the show needs it, but it seems like inevitable that they're going to have to go in that direction because that's kind of ingrained in the Isaiah uh, Bradley character. And plus, we got to set up Patriot. I think Elijah Bradley, is that his name? I think. Yeah, we got to set him up. So it seems like I would prefer they not go that way with Isaiah, but it kind of feels like they have to at the same time. So it's a weird thing there. Josh Kosh, thank you for the $5. Got to agree with you. The social commentary did seem kind of shoehorned in. Yeah, it's like I don't know why they're doing it. It feels so unnecessary, and like the Marvel projects, like in movies and shows, for the most part, have been fairly good about not doing that stuff. I say for the most part, not entirely. I mean, there was a lot of feminism ideology shoved into Captain Marvel, for example. But yeah, I mean, it feels like it's coming out of nowhere in this project. And I don't know why. It's just a sign that of the direction the MCU is heading in the future, because I'm not sure I'm on board with that. It's just... I just wish I knew why they were doing this. Looking good with a new haircut. Absolutely loved Invincible episode 1 to 3. They were all fantastic. Well, I didn't get a haircut. I shampooed. That's the thing I was trying for a while. Because my hair is a lot easier to manage if I go a day or two without shampooing. Because apparently I have really greasy hair. So if I don't shampoo every day, it starts to look different, and it gets like a lot easier to manage and do stuff with. Because this is what my hair looks like when it's shampooed, and it's just a lot more unruly. But it's clean, so bonus. Oh yeah, Invincible. Invincible first 3 episodes are on Amazon Prime now, and they are fantastic. Absolutely loved Invincible. Can't wait for more. And I'll definitely be reviewing that when the entire season finishes. It was supposed to be earlier. It got pushed back. That's why you're confused. Okay, so Godzilla vs. Kong was supposed to be on the 25th. That got pushed back. All right, fine. Because I've seen at least 4 different release dates for that thing. I can't seem to get a concrete answer. I think it's releasing on the 31st. But I checked HBO Max and it doesn't have a release date on there. So it seems like even they aren't sure. I'm just gonna say it. I really don't like the new Captain America. And yeah, they brought in wokeness, so they've gone the CW route. Yeah, well, I don't think we're supposed to like him. From what little I know about the U.S. agent in the comics, he's a bit of a dick. So yeah, I don't know if he'll go straight up supervillain, but I don't think we're supposed to like the guy. That scene with Sam and the cops was just why? Yeah, that felt so on the nose. Like, look, a black man and a white man are having an argument. Oh, the black man must be bothering the white man. We should ask him for his ID. Like, why are we still in this place? It's 2021. Oh, wow. I don't know. It feels like the writers' attitudes about this stuff are stuck in the night, or stuff like decades in the past or something. Are we still in this place? Wow. Love the second episode was more fast-paced. It was better paced than the first episode. I'll give it that. Yeah. We don't need to be reminded how crappy the world is in a superhero series. This is supposed to be our escape from all that. Yeah. I mean, if we want... Like, if I want social commentary Like, I know what to watch for that stuff. I don't necessarily want that in my escapism. Like you expect social commentary in in a different show. Like Black Lightning, for example, is going to have social commentary about the racial stuff because that's just kind of part of the show's DNA. And credit to them, they tend to do it a lot better than other shows do. But I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I thought this was going to be a buddy cop action show. Why do we need this? Why do we need this in here? Cop scene was so cringy. Yep. Let's see. Because a show with a black superhero should never talk about something black men face in real life every day, otherwise woke, right? Look, I get that this is something black people deal with in real life. But I'm just saying, it feels shoehorned in because this never felt like something that was a part of Sam's character prior to this. Like, if he'd mentioned in one of the movies or something about how he was treated differently by law enforcement or whatever, okay, then it wouldn't feel like it's coming out of nowhere. But no, I mean, Sam was always portrayed as a good guy who was treated normally, heroic guy, worked with Captain America, and now suddenly it's like, oh, the police think he's bothering a white man. It's like, it feels like they're shoehorning something in that was never there before. And I'm not saying that the issue isn't there, but it feels very. It feels like they were they added it in for political reasons, when I would prefer they not bring politics into this. Okay. I thought Bucky didn't have a super soldier serum, but turns out he got something called the Infinity Formula. Well, I think Bucky... They didn't really explain it in the movies. Bucky isn't necessarily a super soldier, at least not the same kind that Steve was. And he was just enhanced. I read this somewhere. The Hydra did experiments on him that were similar to the ones that Steve went through. But so he's super soldier-esque, but not an actual super soldier. Like, he's still souped up, just not in the same way. Sucks that they brought back the... no, wait, hold on. Sucks they brought back the original actor for Baron Zemo. I really didn't like him. Well, why not? I thought he did fine. I prefer they not do awkward recastings unless they're absolutely necessary. Batwoman's doing that now. Oh, boy. Hawkeye's getting a show. Okay, my least favorite hero, but okay. Yeah, they're doing a Hawkeye show. Yeah, where he's training Kate Bishop. Yeah, they've been shooting it for a while. I don't know if they're finished yet, but it's coming. Why were the police even called? I don't know. I assumed maybe Isaiah or Elijah called them, but that seems to go against the narrative here. Because if the cops are prejudiced against black people, then you couldn't expect a black person to call them, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the police just happened to be in the area. Yeah. Yeah, racism commentary can be good, but only if it's subtle and mostly clever. Yeah, it tends to not be though. I mean, you gotta be really smart about how you do that. I mean, it can so easily just feel like cringy and egregious and stuff, and unfortunately, that's how it came off here. Uh, Again, I'm not saying that this stuff doesn't happen in real life. I'm just saying it felt awkward the way they shoehorned this in. Okay. Suicide Squad 2 already looks like a mess. I don't know. The trailer didn't really give me many strong feelings one way or the other. I'm interested to see it just because it's James Gunn making it, and so I'd expect it to at least be good. And it was really nice to see Harley looking like Harley and not some like whatever the hell she looked like in Birds of Prey. That just bizarre as hell wardrobe. No, she's back in her usual color scheme. She's wearing the black and the red and the white. She looks like Harley Quinn should look. And but then they changed up the roster and stuff. So I don't know what they're doing with that, but I'm interested to see it just because James Gunn made it. So I'll give it a shot. I don't have incredibly high hopes because the DCEU is just a complete shit show at this point, but trailer for the Suicide Squad looks terrible. I actually really liked the 2016 Suicide Squad. No, I liked it too. The 2016 one. I mean, I'm not saying the movie didn't have a lot of problems. It's hardly a perfect movie, but I actually liked it more than I disliked it. I don't make any excuses for it. I mean, if you think it sucks, I'm not going to argue with you. But considering he wrote the script in like a matter of weeks, I thought it could have turned out a lot worse. All right. In the comics, the Justice League come together to fight the alien starfish, so why waste it on Suicide Squad? Probably because they don't anticipate making more Justice League movies. At least not for a while. Honestly, they got no idea where they're going with the DCEU. They got no plan. They're making these things movie to movie now. So why waste it if that's something that Justice League fought? Probably because they didn't really consider that. They just thought, hey, we need a villain for the Suicide Squad to fight. Giant starfish, cool, do that. If that's something they want to, that would be in consideration for like a future Justice League project. I don't think they've thought that far ahead. And where am I? That was the big problem with Justice League. They rushed that movie because Avengers was coming out that year, and they wanted to try and compete, which was stupid. Yeah, it was incredibly short-sighted, and they left a ton of money on the table. Because I mean, they could have done solo movies and made a ton of money with that. I mean, they proved with the first Wonder Woman and then with Aquaman that the solo movies can be very profitable. So why would you want to skip directly to Justice League when you could make money just setting up Justice League? I mean, it's like you're just throwing money out at that point. Why are you even trying to compete with Marvel? Forget about Marvel. Just do your own thing. Just do your own thing. Oh, boy. This is what happens when you got no one steering the ship. Alright, Falcon Winter Soldier is only 6 episodes. Okay. They should bring back Crossbones and fix him. Yeah, I was disappointed that they didn't do more with Crossbones. I mean, they set him up really well, and then they just did away with him in like the opening of the next movie. It's like, why? He could have been a better villain, damn it. All right. Are you enjoying Invincible? Hell yeah. When the voice cast on this show is so good, I am excuse me. I'm astonished at the quality of the voice acting on this show. It's like every part is filled by like a name actor or a character actor or a great voice actor. So I keep looking up because Amazon Prime does this really cool thing where during each scene they have like the actor's information show up on the side here. So I just move the mouse around and say, oh hey, that's Sandra Oh, or hey, that's Clancy Brown, or hey, that's Walton Goggins. You know, it's so many great actors. Hey, that's Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine doing this voice. Like, yes, voice acting is so good. So good. Sorry about my voice. This is why I don't stream very often, because my voice tends to be really unreliable. Okay. What happened to Black Lightning? I heard the ratings plummeted, and now the 4th season is the last one. Yeah, they're getting canceled after season 4, unfortunately. It's too bad. I like that show. I mean, it was never like a ratings juggernaut or anything. Which is a shame, because I thought that was I thought that was like one of the few exceptions on the CW, because that's actually good. I always liked that show. I like Black Lightning, and it was like the one outlier in the Arrowverse where I thought it was like consistently good and didn't go downhill. Now, granted, I haven't watched past season 3, so I'm way behind on it. But I like Black Lightning. It's a shame it's getting canceled. My goodness, the 2nd episode of Falcon Winter Soldier sounds terrible. I hope She-Hulk isn't as bad as that. No, it's not terrible. It does have some questionable elements in there, but it also has good elements too. I am concerned about She-Hulk, because what's her name? Dana Schwartz, one of the writers. Yeah, she made a complete jackass of herself on social media. It just sounds like she's going to be inserting all kinds of weird shit and weird politics and stuff in there. Oh, I am very concerned about She-Hulk. Okay. Bucky being an ungrateful, self-absorbed prick, taking Sam's issues as his offense, which is just kind of wrong. I didn't see it that way. Look, I mean, Bucky has a ton of PTSD. You can't take this as just him being, like, self-absorbed. I mean, you get where he's coming from. The guy was used as, like, a living weapon for decades. That's gonna fuck a person up. And he was hanging on to Steve, as Steve thinking he deserved to be saved, as kind of a lifeline. And if Steve's judgment is called into question, like him believing in Sam and Sam giving away the shield, he says, well, maybe that lifeline isn't what I thought it was, you know? I don't think it's not Bucky being self-absorbed, it's just him being human, really. It doesn't help that Sam hasn't really explained his issues yet. If he's got reasons for not keeping the shield and for giving it up, well, let's hear him. I'm guessing it's more complicated than just him trying to do the right thing. No, there's some kind of issue that Sam is dealing with that he hasn't explained yet. Like, if he felt unworthy of it, okay, let's hear that. Let's hear about that. Now, I expect they'll get into that later. What did you dislike about Ruby Rose? I think I've made my issues about Ruby Rose very clear. She's a terrible actress. Who played one of the most loathsome characters I've ever seen on a TV show. Do I need more reasons than that? I want Matthew Vaughn to direct a future Justice League movie. Matthew Vaughn was once in the running to do a Superman movie. I think when they were still talking about doing another Superman movie, I think Matthew Vaughn was in consideration to direct it. That would have been great if it happened. Matthew Vaughn's a great director. Okay. Exactly. Flash, Cyborg, and Green Lantern solo movies would have been better than going right to Justice League. Ideally, yeah. I mean, I'd watch those. I mean, the idea of an Ezra Miller Flash solo movie doesn't thrill me, because Ezra Miller is just annoying as hell. And I don't like him as this character, but I mean, if you wanted to set up that movie the right way, I mean, that would have been the way to do it. Because part of the reason why Justice League was so bloated and so long is because they had to include all the setup for those characters. Like, they never did a Cyborg solo movie, so you had to tell his whole origin in Justice League, when you could have covered all that stuff before the movie, And don't get me started again. And Aquaman was awesome. Yeah, I liked Aquaman. I wasn't as high on it as some other people were, but it was good. Invincible episode 1 ending was insane. Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah, Invincible is so good, it makes me want to go back and read the comics. Because I never read the comics. Like, I kind of glanced over them, and I kind of perused the first couple arcs online afterwards. But yeah, that ending was nuts, wasn't it? Holy shit. You know, it's even gorier than the comics, I think. See, this is why streaming services are so cool, because you can get away with so much stuff that they'd never let them do on TV. Because I'm still waiting for like this. I'm still waiting on the more super gory stuff, because there was a lot of it in the trailer too. A lot of it. Can't wait. Have you watched Dota Dragon's Blood yet? Yes, I have. Yeah, I find myself confused about how to feel about it. Because the animation's great. Voice acting's very good. I felt like there was a lot of context for things that I was missing because I never played the game. Because it seems like there's a lot of stuff happening that fans of the game will understand, but me, as kind of a Dragon's Blood neophyte, isn't getting. Like I feel like stuff happening. I feel like I should know, like I should understand a lot of the stuff that's happening, and I just don't get it. Like Morana is like a princess of the moon. Can you elaborate on that? I'm not sure, because I watched other videos where they explained her character, and like she was like thrown out of her kingdom or something, and then she was accepted into a new one and became a princess again somehow. It's like, okay, well, that wasn't really explained in the show. So, I don't know, there was a lot of stuff I just didn't understand. I would like to see more of it, though. So I'll happily watch season 2. I just didn't really get everything they were doing here. Now, I don't know if that's a failure of the storytelling or if I'm just not up to speed because I haven't played the game or whatever. I do like it, though. Thoughts on Wallace Day being the new Kay Kane despite being a straight woman in real life? You know, I honestly couldn't care less what she is in real life. If she's gay, if she's straight, if she's something else, who cares? It's acting. You're pretending to be something else. Why does she have to be gay in real life or straight in real life? I couldn't care less. I think it's going to be really weird. Apparently, she's several inches taller than Ruby Rose. So I guess they're going to do this thing where she gets like facial reconstructive surgery to make her look different or something. But she's going to be taller. Her hair is going to be different. I'm assuming her eyes are a different color. How are they going to explain how her voice is different? Because even if she gets like facial, like plastic surgery or something to repair her burn scars or whatever, you know, her voice should still sound like Ruby Rose's. Are they just not going to acknowledge that? I guess they could say, oh, her vocal cords were damaged too, so we had to do some work on those. Whatever. It's going to be super awkward. I mean, they could have easily avoided all this if they just said that Kate died in the plane crash. Then they wouldn't have to do all this shit. But no, they can't bury a gay, so they have to jump through all these hoops to bring her back when it's just going to be awkward as hell. Oh. But at least the acting for Kate might get better now. So there's a silver lining if you want to see it. See, Zachary Quinto and Walton Goggins' chemistry was superb and invincible. Yeah, I cannot say enough about the voice cast. Like, every role was just cast so well. I want to just go down like the IMDb page and see if there's any role that was not cast with like a name actor. It's like every role is like somebody I recognize. Like, hey, it's Stephen Yoon, and hey, it's Zazie Beetz, and it's like wow, it's like they really went all out with this cast. J.K. Simmons, holy shit, Sandra, oh my god. I could just go on and on about the voice cast. Black Lightning surprised me because people complaining about diversity liked things like Anissa's sexuality. Well, I don't think they didn't make it like a political thing with Anissa's sexuality. Like she's just a gay person. They don't make it a big thing. Now, granted, I've only watched like halfway through season 3, so I don't know what happens after that. But they didn't politicize it. She was just a gay person, just a normal gay person, and it's fine. They don't play the identity politics. They don't play identity politics with it. It's just a part of her character, and she's just a normal person. You know, it's weird how people tend to be okay with that when you don't insert identity politics into it, you know? I wonder who's going to be the true villain of Falcon Winter Soldier, Power Broker, Flag Smasher, or new Captain America. Judging from the trailers, I think it'll likely be Zemo. Or there might not be a true villain. I mean, there might be like a collection of villains. But yeah, we know we're getting a Baron Zemo a little closer to the comics version at some point, because we saw like the purple balaclava thing in the trailer, so he's coming. Zemo would be my guess. Wallace Day looks like Alice should have been Kate Kane from the start, but they decided to cast a block of wood as the lead based on her sexuality. Yeah, because Kate and Alice are like twins, right? So Wallace Day actually looks a lot more like Rachel Scarston than, like, way more than Ruby Rose ever did. They actually look like they could be sisters. So the casting makes more sense. It's a shame they didn't go with Wallace Day from the start. Are we ever going to see Mark Ruffalo's Hulk again? I believe he's confirmed to appear in She-Hulk. I mean, they're going to have to if they're doing She-Hulk's origin, because he's a part of that. I don't know how much he'll appear in, but I believe he is confirmed to appear. And so we'll see him again, at least a little bit. She-Hulk I'm excited about, but yeah, the writers are the issue. I'm worried about She-Hulk, but I am also so curious about it at the same time. Because how are they going to do that show? Are they going to do like an Ally McBeal thing where it's like a workplace comedy, and it's just She-Hulk doing lawyer type stuff, or is she actually going to do superhero stuff too? I don't know, but I'm so curious about it. I'm also worried as hell that they're going to ruin it because the writers just. The writer has not inspired confidence. But yeah, I'm very curious. Also, there are some rumors that Daredevil might show up, or Matt Murdock at least. And I am down for more Matt Murdock. We got to get Charlie Cox back in that mask. We got to get him. Got to get him. Ha ha ha, Ruby Rose, she is very pretty but B-grade actor. Wow, you are being super generous. B-grade actor? I think calling Ruby Rose a B-grade actor is an insult to B-grade actors. A lot of people undermine their therapist. Therapy is a tough process. Yeah, no kidding. I had to go through that myself. It's not fun. Is the current mess in Marvel Comics a sign of what will come of the new TV MCU? Not necessarily. Because, I mean, those two divisions have been separate for a long time. Because Kevin Feige has been running the MCU, and the comics were kind of spearheaded by other people. Now, I believe Kevin Feige is like the ultimate guy in charge of everything now. No, but yeah, for a long time, he had no involvement in the comics. And couldn't they have just recast Kate instead of making a completely new character? It was so easy. Yeah, that's happened before in TV. They could have just continued on like the story they were telling before and just continued on like normal, but at some point they changed their mind. Like at first they were adamant about not recasting the role because they wanted to respect what Ruby Rose did. God knows why. She was terrible. And so that's how Ryan became a thing. And then they didn't want to kill Kate off, so they had to bring her back, but they didn't have Ruby Rose anymore. So they had to recast. Because, Ruby Rose apparently didn't want to come back, except now she said she did. So I'm guessing there were hard feelings about how Ruby Rose left that they're keeping secret. Because, she's now said that she'd be willing to return to the show, or at least make an appearance, as long as she's not playing Batwoman. I guess she didn't like wearing the suit. It was uncomfortable or something. But then they recast the role. So I'm guessing there were hard feelings there. Then there was that whole thing with like the shot of the Justice League from the crossover from last year where they photoshopped Ruby Rose out of it. Definitely hard feelings. Batman should have gotten a solo movie before Batman v Superman. Absolutely, he should have. I don't know why he didn't. I'm assuming that was a studio decision. Because Ben was good. Ben Affleck was a good Batman. He deserved a solo movie. I know a lot of people had reservations about Ben Affleck's Batman, but I liked him in the role a lot. A lot of people do. It's just he didn't have the movies he was in just weren't good. Or at least they had a lot of problems with him. But he could have been a good Batman if he'd had the chance. He just didn't really. He just didn't really have the material, unfortunately. Holy moly. Danny D with a $24.99 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. Love your work. Looking forward to more. Thank you. I do my best. Wow. That was a big one. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Invincible is the cartoon. Yes. It's on Amazon Prime. First 3 episodes. Go check it out. It's awesome. Highly recommend reading the comic run. Yeah, I've heard the comic run is great, and I've kind of looked through it somewhat, but there's like over 100 issues, and I just don't really have the free time, unfortunately. Review Supergirl the final season and binge watch to catch up? Why do you hate me so much? Look, I have an excuse for discontinuing the Supergirl reviews, okay? They kept getting claimed. So I'd put in weeks of work to do one video and then it would get claimed so I wouldn't get paid for it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to focus on videos I could actually monetize. I thought the stream was about Falcon and Winter Soldier. It is. But I gave my thoughts on that episode, and now we're just talking to the chat room. This is the portion of the review where we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. I think Walker will be the bad guy, but that's more protagonist centering. I don't know. I don't know if he'll be a straight up bad guy. I think he'll probably be like an impediment to Sam and Bucky. Maybe more of an anti-hero, or just like an unlikable prick who's sort of a good guy, but you just don't like him that much. I don't think he's going to be a straight up bad guy. John Walker gives me Homelander vibes. Oh my god. Well, and that he acts like a good guy, but he's really not one. I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, he is revealing some dickish attitudes. I wouldn't say he's like Homelander. And thanks for all your reviews. Take a break from Batwoman. It seems like you need it. Oh, I wish I could, dude. I wish I could, but my ad revenue is still not back up to where it was last year, and the Batwoman reviews can very reliably get 20 to 30,000 views, and they're still my primary source of ad revenue. So they're kind of a necessity right now. Believe me, I would love to step away from Batwoman and never watch the show again, but I kind of have to review it. Plus, people really like those videos, so I got to do what brings the people in, Does the Alice redemption arc in Batwoman make your eyes roll? Yeah. I talked about this before. Alice seemed so irredeemable in season 1. Like, she went so dark and killed so many people. It's like, how on earth do you redeem a character who's gone so far in the other direction? How do you do it? And the answer is that you Deus Ex Machina the crap out of it. Now they're saying, oh, she was that evil because she was hypnotized. Okay, let's just forget about the fact that that's not really how hypnotism works. But yeah, no, she was hypnotized into being a killer. So all that stuff wasn't really her fault. So they're just saying that when women commit crimes, they can't be held responsible for their actions. It's a terrible message. Terrible. Because now they're saying that Alice wasn't really responsible for anything she did. So there's no accountability for anything. It's so cheap. And they're trying to redeem her in the easiest way imaginable when it's not an easy thing to do. It's forced and it's weird and it's stupid and I don't like it. Like Deus Ex Machinas do not fix everything. You can't fix a bad writing with that. It's still just bad writing. I think Wallace Day will definitely be a better actress than Ruby Rose. Well, she couldn't possibly be worse. Taking all bets, 50-50 odds based on the background. I'm either a photographer or a spy. Well, that's just the green screen stuff back there. And the jacket in the Macy's bag, that's just a jacket that I never got a chance to wear. I bought it when it was on sale, like back in, I don't know, September or August. And because I've been wearing the same ratty sweatshirt for like 15 years, and turns out I got really attached to the ratty sweatshirt, and I still haven't had a chance to wear the jacket, and now it's too weather got too hot too fast, and now it doesn't make sense to wear it anymore. It might just go back into the closet for a while. Maybe I'll wear it next when the weather gets cold again. Oh my God. Bear Business 1 with a $40 super chat. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. Thanks for suffering for our pleasure. May Batwoman run many more seasons. I refuse to believe the rumors. Well, okay. I mean, right now they are just rumors, I believe. There's been no official confirmation that the show's being canceled after season 3 that I know of. So it could be all rumors. Who the hell knows? But thank you so much. Holy crap. That is ridiculous. Thank you to all our super chatters. That's amazing. It still kind of blows my mind that people want to give me money. It just feels so alien to me. Let's see. Hogarth on Jessica Jones is how to do a gay person in a TV show. No identity politics included. Yeah, I appreciated that. Her name fell out of my head. Trinity from the Matrix. What the hell's her name? I don't know. I forgot her name. But I appreciated how they did that character. I thought it was actually kind of a brave thing they did to have a gay character be kind of a morally complex person and kind of an asshole at times. You know, she was she was gay, but she could also be very she could also be selfish and treat other people like crap. Also sympathetic because she had like I forget what illness it was, but she was also sick. She was very complex. I appreciated that they were brave enough to do that. No politics there. Carrie Ann Moss, that was her name. I'm terrible with names. Always bad at remembering names. I'm great with faces. I'm bad with names. All right, where are we? How do you feel about Black Mask coming to Batwoman? Look, I'm not a DC guy. I really don't know much about Black Mask at all. My last exposure to him was the Ewan McGregor version in the Birds of Prey movie, which, as you may recall, I was not a fan of. He was just, in that movie, he was just there to show how men equal bad. That was the extent of his character, and given the politics of this show, of the Batwoman show, are we really expecting anything else? Look, I don't have high hopes for that at all, but I have no attachment to the character. Really don't know anything about the character, so if they mess it up, it's not like it's going to piss me off, because, I mean, it's what I expect from them at this point, really. Did you ever watch Krypton? No, I didn't. It just didn't interest me. I'm not a big Superman guy in general, honestly. I talked about Superman and Lois for a couple episodes because I don't know. It seemed like it was prime review fodder, at least. Plus, I mean, I wanted to check it out anyway to see if they'd do it right or if they'd ruin it. Turns out it's a good show. Got some problems, but it's been a good show so far. But I mean, a Krypton show? Why? Why do we need this? It just felt so weirdly unnecessary. I think for a while they were talking about doing a Metropolis show without Superman. Like it would be about like Lois and Lex Luthor or something, but no Superman. It's like, why? Do a Superman show. People want to. No, I didn't watch. I didn't watch Krypton. And I'd be up for a solo Winter Soldier show where he deals with his PTSD and goes around trying to make amends for his previous actions. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's what this show is about, at least partially. That's one of the more interesting aspects of it, I think, is Bucky trying to make amends for what he was doing when he was under Hydra's control. I wish they'd focus more on that. I think that's one of the more compelling aspects of this. The Flash has made Caitlin and Killer Frost two different people now? Oy. Oh, so glad I don't have to watch that show anymore. I mean, in my opinion, Flash was always a bad show. It seems like it's just gotten worse and worse. I watched the first 3 seasons because I was reviewing it at the time, but I just couldn't take anymore. Have you still been watching Superman and Lois? Jordan is the iris of the show. He is so annoying. Yeah, I've still been watching it. I don't know if I'll do any more reviews of it. The first one did well. The views kind of tapered off after that. So I think it might be a better idea to use that time to review other stuff. Like the Snyder Cut, like Godzilla vs. Kong, which I thought I was going to be doing this week. So I don't know about that. I have still been watching it, though. I'm enjoying it for the most part. Jordan does get kind of annoying sometimes. He's clearly a favorite of the writers, which... Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I wouldn't call him. I wouldn't go so far as to call him the Iris of the show because Iris is. Ugh. Iris is on another level of annoying. Jordan's not there yet. Uh, but he's not my favorite aspect of it. I find John a lot more sympathetic than Jordan, honestly, because John's the one who's kind of getting screwed over by this whole situation. Because he kind of lost his whole identity moving to Smallville, whereas Jordan likes it there, but John was doing fine where they were. Then he got then his whole life got upended. His girlfriend dumps him over the phone. Suddenly he can't really play football anymore because his brother Jordan, who doesn't even like football, is like the new star player because he has superpowers, and so Jordan's getting all the attention because he has powers, whereas John is now sitting on the bench. So he's kind of a so his whole life now has become about accommodating Jordan. So I feel very sympathetic towards John right now. And oh my God, we have a $50 super chat from Bear Business One. Holy mother of God! I don't even know what to say, guys. I don't. Wow. Which of the upcoming Disney Marvel releases will be the worst? Which are you most excited for? Again, thanks for the content, dude. Thank you for the super chat. Holy moly, that's $90. Bear Business One is going in the Super Chat Hall of Fame. Holy crap. Which one of the Disney Marvel releases will be the worst? Oh, God. Well, without knowing more, it's hard to answer that question. I do not have high hopes for Ms. Marvel. Because of the trailer, like, did all the wrong things. Now, I assume they hadn't shot much of the show at the time, so maybe they didn't have much to show people. But it was all about, hey, look how non-white our main character is. Look how non-white our directors are. It's like, why are you showing off your directors? Like, people don't care about that. I'd be interested to see their IMDb pages to see how qualified they are. I don't care what color they are. Like, are they? I don't care how not white they are. I'm interested to see their qualifications. So, yeah, I'll look them up. I'll look them up on IMDb. IMDb maybe if they're qualified for the job. Great, good luck to them. That's all I care about. I don't care how diverse your crew is. It really doesn't matter to me one way or the other. You know? It's like, they didn't show her powers at all, and that's something I'm really curious about. Like, how on earth do you visualize her powers in a medium like this? Because, I mean, her powers in the comics make her look all weird and misshapen. It's like, it's not a sexy power to have. And I'm not sure how you can do that in a TV show without going, like, one of two routes. It's either going to be straight up comedy or straight up body horror. Like, there's got to be a middle ground in there somewhere where you can exist. I don't know where it is yet. Because I'm not sure how you can do her powers without making it look weird as hell. And there's got to be a cool way you can show that off, but I don't know how to do it. Anyway, judging by the trailer, and again, they didn't show very much, so I could be way off here, but it feels like they're going for more of a family show type of thing, with maybe some superhero elements thrown in. And I'm not sure if that's what people are tuning in for. I'll give it a shot, because I am super curious, but I don't have high hopes about Ms. Marvel. And again, it's not like the comics are that great either. They're not. Then there's She-Hulk. And again, I really don't know much of anything about what they're going to do with the show. I'm just basing this entirely on Dana Schwartz making an ass of herself on Twitter. Like, if all her cringy AF politics have seeped into the show, then that could be a big problem. So if you're asking me which one will be the worst, I'm saying it's either She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel. And admittedly, I say that without having much information about either one. But just basing that on what I know right now, it's going to be one of those two shows, I think. Which are you most excited for? Well, I was most excited for Falcon Winter Soldier. Now I'm kind of thinking about Loki. I mean, the trailer was all over the place, but I think it's going to be... I think it'll be fun and interesting, if nothing else, because Loki's a fun character. It does kind of bug me how they're sort of rebooting him because of all the time travel shenanigans. They basically retconned all his character growth after Avengers. But he's still fun. You know, you put Owen Wilson in there with him, it should be a good time. And again, Bear Business 1, thank you so much for these amazing super chats. Holy crap. Holy moly. And I have no idea where I am with the comments anymore. Oh, Bear Business 1 with another $10. Holy shit. Wanted to get to an even 100, huh? Wow. They're rounding it off. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I am blown away. That's amazing. Wow. You guys are killing it with the super chats tonight. Holy moly. She-Hulk scares me. It could be awesome, but then that Twitter feed. Yeah. Yeah. They've gotten really weird and political with the She-Hulk comics too. Like in recent times, they've made her look all mannish. It's like they've tried to they've gotten away what made the character popular in the first place in the comics. Because yeah, she was a Hulk, but she was also still like beautiful and feminine and alluring and stuff. Now they're making her look like a female bodybuilder, like a hyper masculine female bodybuilder. It's like I think they tried to turn She-Hulk into regular Hulk. Because, God forbid, a female character actually look attractive. And I'm scared that they're going to do that with the show. Because I think they got a great star. I think, what's her name from... what's her name? Tatiana Maslany, I think her name is. I think that's a great choice. So I like their casting. I'm down for a She-Hulk TV show. I'm just terrified they're going to screw it up. Would you review the new Suicide Squad trailer? You know, I thought about doing a trailer reaction. Then I watched it and I didn't have any strong feelings about it one way or the other. It was just there. I am interested to see it because, you know, with James Gunn making it, I think it will at least be interesting. It'll probably be good, you know, if they just let James Gunn do his thing. I just didn't get anything from the trailer. It's like, okay, all right, it's a movie. I like that Harley Quinn looks like Harley Quinn again, but I think the thing with trailer reactions is you got to have some kind of a big reaction to the whole thing. If it doesn't bring out some kind of strong feelings, if you're just watching it to watch it, then I don't really think it's worth it because you're watching it for the reaction. You're watching it to see people freak out. If you don't have some kind of freak out reaction, then it's not really, you don't really have a video there. would you consider reviewing Supergirl again? Well, the whole reason I stopped is because I couldn't make any money off those videos. And it was kind of a shame because that's what got the channel noticed in the first place. And people still ask about them. So, I mean, it's great that people love those videos. But practically it just didn't make sense to keep making them. Because, I mean, I always worked really hard to avoid the copyright bots. Because I kept all the clips under 10 seconds. And then later when the algorithm changed, I kept all the clips under 7 seconds. And I worked really hard editing those to kind of comply with the guidelines. But they kept getting claimed anyway. So finally with the last one, I'm like, well, I mean, if I have to re-edit this thing like 5 times and it's still getting claimed before it even finishes processing, like, what am I doing this for? So finally I decided, look, I'm trying to make money with this. I'm trying to make enough money to be able to call this my job. And if I was spending all this time making the Supergirl reviews for no money, that's just not doable. So I made the decision to focus on videos that I could make more quickly and actually monetize. And if I'm being completely honest, I was kind of stuck on the script for the next Supergirl review anyway. I was having a lot of trouble cracking it for some reason. But yeah, I mean, I do think about going back to those. I mean, people liked them so much, it would be nice to kind of, pay those people back for following and watching my other stuff. But again, it would take me weeks to make one video. And if they're just getting claimed immediately, then it just doesn't make sense. Plus, I'm always trying to be cognizant of what gets claimed, because those guidelines are always changing, and that's part of the reason why I always bleep out my F-bombs, because YouTube is getting more strict with that stuff all the time, and I know sooner or later they're going to crack down on bad language even more than they do already. So I was trying to stay ahead of the curve on that one. And so yeah, I mean, the Supergirl reviews are all claimed now, so I don't make any money on those. And it's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, I had to, if I wanted to be able to make money with this, the channel had to kind of become something else. And I had to kind of change the way I do videos. And honestly, I've always been more comfortable doing them the way I do now. Because, I mean, the Supergirl reviews are hard to make. Because I had a really tough time doing the voiceover stuff. Like, you'd think voiceover would be really easy because you're just talking. It's not. It's actually a lot harder. Because when you're on camera like this, you can communicate so many different ways with your facial expressions and body language and stuff. When you're doing voiceovers, everything has to come from your voice. So those things were just a nightmare to record. Because my voice, as I'm sure you've noticed by now, it tends to be unreliable. It tends to crap out on me. So yeah, those were really, really hard to make. And the recording process was anyway. I mean, it's still hard to make videos now. Because I'm a perfectionist, so I'll end up doing retake after retake after retake. That's why those Batwoman reviews, they take me hours to record. Like, I'll start on a Monday night, and I'll be recording well into Tuesday morning. Like, I'll usually finish like around 6 a.m., 7 a.m., something like that. I'll spend hours and hours recording those. Because it's tough. Because I just want them to sound good, and a lot of the time I don't manage it, because I mean, I'm sure you'll notice, like, in certain takes, my voice just sounds like garbage, because I had to spend so many takes getting a screaming rant the way I wanted it, and then I lose my voice afterward. Wow, I kind of went off on a tangent there. I'm sorry. Why can't you do the Supergirl reviews like Batwoman without any videos, just you talking? People love the Supergirl reviews because of your opinions. Well, I don't know. I think that style of video works when it's like a recently aired episode. Not so much with episodes that aired a couple years ago. If I did them that way, I don't know if there would be anywhere near as much of an audience for it, honestly. And another super chat. Josh Kosh, thank you for the $2. Wish I had more money to support you, man. I'm in a rut. Dude, I'm in a rut too. I had to pay for sinus surgery out of pocket because my insurance didn't cover it. Oy. I did get my stimulus check the other day, though. So now I can pay some of these medical bills that I've been piling up on my desk for a while. Maybe not all of them. Yeah, then some woman hits my car in the parking lot of the grocery store. Thankfully, insurance is going to pay for that. It's at the body shop now. Just waiting to find out what that's going to cost me. But yeah, I mean, the insurance company was pretty good about that. You know, I sent them pictures of the damage. They sent me a check, so that's going to be covered, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, things are tough all over. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't like to beg people for super chats. I think if you want to donate money to support the channel, you have my eternal thanks. If you don't, that's okay too. Don't worry about it. In Supergirl's last season, you could get a bump from that. Yeah, but I didn't watch beyond the first half of season 1. I wouldn't know what's going on. Oh my god, another super chat. David Serta, thank you for the $5. Is it Serta? Hope I got that right. Don't worry about Supergirl. Your Batwoman reviews are gold. That show is so damn bad, it's a comical farce. Glad you watch it so I don't have to. So many people say that. Thank you. Glad I could entertain. You know, I don't. I didn't set out to make those reviews like funny necessarily. I was like originally I just tried to do a dissection of the show. It just turned out to lend itself to a lot of comedy. But I never expected the Batwoman reviews to take off the way they did. Originally I just thought, well, people have been asking me to talk about it for a while, so I'll do one review of the pilot. I'll just try to be extensive and cover absolutely everything because people have been asking me about this, and hopefully it'll do a couple thousand views, and then I'll be done with it. And then the first video just exploded, and then I figured, okay, well, I guess I have to do more of these now. And I have to do them that way, because that's actually not my preferred method of reviewing stuff. It was just going through absolutely every detail, but people really liked it, so I kept doing it. So it's always odd to me that people seem to enjoy those so much. Still feels weird. But yeah, I guess it does lend itself to a lot of jokes. It does. That show tends to get my juices flowing. Weirdly enough. I wish it was that easy to make reviews of good stuff entertaining. Doing a review of something good and making that fun, making it like a funny review of that's a lot harder. You make the Nostalgia Critic look like boring movies. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I used to love the Nostalgia Critic. I can't watch his stuff anymore after all that stuff with Channel Awesome went down. Thank you. That's high praise because I think he is a really funny guy. Even if I guess he isn't necessarily a very good person in real life. Have you lost your voice when shouting about Batwoman episodes? Almost always do. Yeah. Uh, like I lost my voice talking about the last several of them because pretty much any time I do a Batwoman review where there's like a lengthy rant or I'm shouting or something, you can guarantee I lost my voice after that because those are hard to get right. Because I'll do take after take after take of those, and just my voice just sounds like crap afterwards. Because I tend to that's why I kind of record in half-hour blocks. Like I'll do about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that, and then I'll stop for a while and rest my voice for a little bit, and then I'll do it again. That's kind of why it takes so long. Because after like a lengthy shouting rant and doing like multiple takes of that, I'll have to take like half hour or an hour break just so I can get through the rest of it. Because I didn't used to have this problem, but now I've got chronic allergies these days, and my voice is kind of crappy in general. So it's it's always kind of phlegmy and scratchy and stuff. It's just it makes recording really hard. Your reviews are very funny. That's one of the main reasons I watch it, and I like your style of reviewing, how you go through every intricate detail. All right, thank you. It's again, it's weird to me that people like that because it was never my preferred review style. When I did this on my other channel, a couple of years ago, I would just do like a quick rundown of the plot of the episode and then just launch right into my thoughts. So just going through like the whole thing detail by detail was never how I did this before. It's just kind of something I stumbled into. It's weird that seemed to be a popular thing to do. Do you think Old Man Steve will show up in the series? I think it's possible he might have a cameo at the end of it. I'm not counting on it though. I think they ruled out future appearances by Chris Evans, unfortunately. So maybe he might show up at the very end. I'm not ruling that out, but they seem to be acting as if Steve is like no longer with us. Like maybe he passed away since Endgame. That's how they're acting. They haven't elaborated on that, but that's how they're behaving. So I'm assuming Steve is no longer with us anymore. What's one of your all-time favorite movies, TV shows? I don't know about my ultimate favorite. Fight Club is way up there. That's one of my favorites, definitely. Let's see, what else? The Incredibles, of course. I haven't really thought about it. Like my current favorite thing tends to be whatever good thing I'm currently watching, so it changes a lot. I don't know about all-time favorites, but yeah, Fight Club and The Incredibles are way up there. Favorite TV show? Again, kind of the same thing. I've got certain shows that'll make the list. But all-time favorites, it's hard to pick one. Battlestar Galactica remake for sure. That'd be on the list. Yeah, I can imagine how stressful it is to record those reviews. Oh yeah, it is. Very, very stressful. I always wondered why it takes 2 to 3 days, but I understand it. Shooting and editing must be one hell of a hassle. Yeah, it is. It is. Like, I'm so jealous of people who can watch an episode and then just turn on a camera and shoot the review just like that, because I've never been one of those people. Because my process is I'll watch the episode and I'll constantly be stopping and rewinding so I can take notes. So it'll take me like 2 hours to watch the episode, and I'll have pages and pages of notes. And then after that, I'll write the review, and I'll write the review script, and that'll take several hours. So I'll be writing until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And most of the time I won't even finish it. Like I'll go to sleep, and then I'll finish it after I wake up, and then I'll shoot it that night, and that'll take, again, several hours. So I'll be recording until early the next morning. Then I'll get some sleep, and then I'll spend the entire day. I'll spend like all Tuesday editing it. And again, I'm cutting like 2.5, 3 hours of footage into about 20, 30 minutes of review. It just takes a while. Believe me, I wish I could get it done faster. I really do. This is my process, and it's endlessly frustrating that it takes so long. But this is how I do it. And I could put out reviews much faster, but they'd be terrible. And I much prefer to just take my time and put out something that I'm proud of. And if it takes a little longer to put them out, I mean, that's the price I pay. Because I'd rather just have a review that I myself could enjoy watching. Because if I watch it and it's full of mistakes, and there's lots of ums and ahs and ers, and I'm screwing up lines and stuff, I don't want to watch that. So I prefer to just take my time, and I know I could probably, yeah. Well, I don't like that it takes as long as Wednesday. Like, I wish I could put them out on Monday, believe me. It's just, I prefer to take my time with it. Your way of reviewing is really helpful to understand shows like Stargirl. Oh, thank you. Do you want the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad to be released? It's not something I really thought about. I might be interested in it for just curiosity's sake, but it's not something I'm dying to see. Honestly, the Snyder Cut wasn't something I was dying to see either. Mainly because, well, Suicide Squad was such a rushed production, and he wrote the script in a matter of weeks and then went right into shooting it. So, I mean, I am curious about what got cut out, because, I mean, there was obviously a lot of studio interference, but it's not something that's, like, feels hugely consequential or anything. I think this is just a movement that kind of sprung up because, hey, we finally got the Snyder Cut. Let's see what else we can get, you know? That doesn't really matter to me. Ooh, Farscape. Yeah, that's another one. That'd be another one that's way up there on my list. See, Buffy, Angel, Stargate Universe, Dexter, Sanctuary, Fringe. Fringe was really good. Stargate Universe, I thought, was very underrated. I thought that show didn't get enough credit. I thought that was certainly my favorite of the Stargate shows. Because they tried something different, and I liked what they did. That to me felt like the kind of Stargate show I would like. Yeah, it's a shame it didn't last long. Just now fans like it the way it was, apparently. Too bad. But yeah, Farscape, absolutely. I love Farscape. Are you excited for Stargirl Season 2? It looks amazing from photos and a promo, same quality. There's a promo for Stargirl Season 2? I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. I don't know if I'm excited so much, because now that it's exclusively on the CW, I feel like the network's probably going to ruin it. But I did end up liking Season 1. Had some problems when it started, but they figured that the show figured itself out by the end of the season. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do have concerns though. More recommendations for Netflix Dark. I'm gonna have to watch that show eventually. People keep telling me about it. All right. Don't rush your reviews. Take your time. The quality you have on them is amazing. Okay, thank you. Because it would worry me if people wanted me to get them out faster. It's like, no, you don't know what you're asking. I could get them out faster, but they'd be terrible. Because if the reviews are good, it's because I spend like 3 days on them. Maybe get an editor. That seems to shorten everyone's turnaround time. Well, there's some issues there. If I had an editor, I'd have to pay them, and I don't even make I don't even make enough to pay myself. Like, because I'm still losing money on this venture. Because ad revenue as it stands right now, for the last 28 days, would be enough to cover my rent. And but I'm still not where I was last year. Like, at my peak last year, the peak of the channel, I was making enough to cover my rent and some of my bills, but not all of them. Then the pandemic shut everything down. Ad revenue dropped off a cliff. I'm still working on building it back up. So I should be able to cover my rent now, but then there's a credit card bill and the electric bill and medical bills and stuff. So I'm still losing money. So I can't really afford to pay an editor. And also, I don't know if I'd want to anyway, because I wouldn't really trust them to make it the way I want it. Because I think a big part of my reviews is the editing, and I'm very humble about my editing skills, believe me. But I think a lot of my humor and the jokes and the sarcasm and stuff, it kind of depends on like the way everything is timed, and a lot of that comes from editing. So I wouldn't really trust anyone else to get the timing right. And it would be nice if I could get somebody else to edit this stuff. That would save so much time. I just don't really trust anyone else to do it the way I like it. I think Suicide Squad would have been greatly improved by the removal of Jared Leto's Joker. It was just so cringe in my opinion. Yeah, I just did not like that portrayal. Why they went with like the gangsta thug version of Joker? It's just, why? So many strange decisions. And again, this just comes from not really thinking things through. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you write the script in a matter of weeks. And why you wouldn't want to introduce a character like the Joker in a Batman movie first, and then kind of lay the groundwork for how the character operates. But now, when you don't put much thought into it, and you write the script so fast, you end up with a Joker that is like that. And the weird thing is, when Joker showed up at the end of the Snyder Cut, they actually ditched a lot of that stuff. And that Joker, for that one scene, actually I thought was much improved, because he wasn't being like a gangsta weirdo anymore. He felt more like the Joker. He was still like a strange version, and he didn't laugh at any point, I don't think. But a lot of the cringe, a lot of the weird, awkward stuff was gone. I thought that was a lot closer to a version of the Joker I could get on board with. Um, Stargate Atlantis was my favorite of them. Yeah, I kind of liked Stargate Atlantis. Uh, I was never really a fan of like the jokey tone of those shows. That's why I liked Stargate Universe so much. But I did kind of like Stargate Atlantis. Never got on board with SG1 though. It just didn't appeal to me. Stargate Universe was amazing. Cut too short. There was a lot they could have done. Yeah, I like seeing the love for Stargate Universe in here. That was an underappreciated show, I think. The show had a lot of potential. Universe was an excellent step in a good direction. Fans just didn't realize that the same old formula would have worn thin eventually. Yeah, at the time, it's like I saw a lot of backlash from like Stargate purists saying, "Oh, they're just trying to make it like Battlestar Galactica and whatever." Oh yeah, what a shame that would be. Make it more like that critically acclaimed show that was bringing all the prestige to the network. Make it more like that show that won a Peabody Award. You know, what were they thinking? You know. Yeah. So like a lot of the Stargate purists just didn't get on board with it, unfortunately. So they didn't appreciate it for what it was doing. I thought it was doing a lot of good things. People keep telling me to check out Dark. I've never had the time to check it out. Okay. I like your edits. For now, just keep doing it yourself. It's Oh, that's the plan. It's just it becomes very tedious because I get like super uh, obsessive with like when I edit stuff. Hold on, because I go so far as to edit out every pause when I'm speaking. Like I don't like when you can hear me breathing. So if I take a loud breath, like I'll go into Adobe Audition and turn the audio down and then cut that part out. It just takes forever. Do you still intend to watch the Nevers? Yeah, that's the plan. I know Joss Whedon is a controversial person these days. So there's a certain amount of like separating the art from the artist. I can do that. Plus, I mean, he left the show already, so I mean, he was only involved with it for like this first batch of episodes. Then I guess it's going to become something else. But it does look like an interesting show. I'm going to watch it. It comes out pretty soon, though. I think in a couple weeks. People are getting screeners for it now, so yeah, I'll probably make some videos on that. Let's see. I understand that obsessive feeling. You want to be perfect as much as possible. What app do you use to edit? I edit on Premiere Pro. Yeah, so all my editing stuff comes from Adobe. Got Adobe Audition, Adobe Photoshop. Yeah, it's kind of that obsessive feeling is kind of a blessing and a curse because I feel like I'm just always kind of looking for mistakes. The problem is I find so many, it just takes forever to edit. And I'll often like look back, like rewatch old videos that I already uploaded and see if I made any mistakes in there. It's I don't know why, because it just drives me nuts when I find them, but I don't know. This is just how my brain works. You either need to make more money or become more reasonable. Yeah, probably. The first one, hopefully. um, yeah, gotta get that sub count up because subscriber growth has not recovered from last year either. That's about half of what it was. I think when I was at my peak before the pandemic. Was it hard learning to edit? Not really. Because you can learn the basics of it pretty quickly, like in a couple hours. Like I took a class on it, um, and like the whole editing in Adobe Premiere, like they give you like a project to do on it, but they cover the basics in like one course. Like you'll do like 3 hours and you learn the basics. This is how you make a cut. This is how you export. This is how you do this, and that. And like everything else I had to pick up myself. So I watched a lot of video tutorials on YouTube to learn how to green screen and stuff like that. I guess it's kind of like chess. Like you can learn it easily, but mastering it takes longer. I know because it seems really intimidating when you're just starting. It's actually pretty easy to learn. It's just there's a lot to learn, but you can get the basics of it pretty quickly. I'm thinking editing is something that can be self-taught with basic skill level. Yeah, probably. I mean, honestly, you can find like video tutorials about just about anything on YouTube. I haven't searched for like a basic how-to for Adobe Premiere. I'm sure there are tons of them though. Is anything really interesting here I can talk about? There's an upcoming TV show on Amazon called Wheel of Time, based on a book series. It's an epic fantasy. They're hoping for it to be the new Game of Thrones, spending quite a bit of money on it. I've heard about that. I'm not familiar with the books. They got Wheel of Time. They got that. I think they were doing a Lord of the Rings TV series, or more like a Middle Earth TV series. Not sure if that's still happening. Yeah, it took me about 5 or 6 months to become pretty good at chess. I used to suck at first. Yeah, you can learn how to edit faster than that. Um, basically the project I did, like they teach you how to edit in a couple hours, and then they give you a project to do. And the project was like making a how-to video, like how to make a sandwich. A bunch of people do that. How to make a sandwich. How to uh, make scrambled eggs or whatever. I did how to fold your laundry. So I did a 2.5 minute video showing how to do your laundry basically, and then you shoot it yourself, and then you edit it, and at the end of it you know how to use Premiere Pro. So I so that's what I did, and that's how I learned how to edit. And then I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube, and I learned some other stuff. But it's actually pretty easy to learn once you've got the basics of it. If I'm getting any more, I'll get Prime. I'm not even considering Disney Plus. I would recommend Amazon Prime over Disney Plus. There's a lot of good stuff on Amazon Prime. There's The Expanse, there's The Boys, Invincible, Carnival Row is really cool. Probably some other stuff I'm not thinking of. Have you watched Good Omens on Amazon Prime? I have not. It looked interesting. I've actually read the book. I have not seen the miniseries itself. I watched a few minutes of it. Haven't gotten around to watching the whole thing. I heard it's great though. And excited for Percy Jackson coming to Disney Plus. Well, apparently Rick Riordan is heavily involved in it, so it'll probably be more faithful to the books than the movies were. Of course, I haven't read the books. I saw the first movie, wasn't very good. I know a lot of people love those books though, so I'm interested to see how that turns out if the creator is involved. Only good thing I've heard of on Disney Plus is The Mandalorian. Well, they've also got X-Men the animated series up on that. So don't sleep on that if you haven't seen it. That show was and is awesome. Got a whole generation of fans into comics, into the X-Men. People still love that show to this day. It holds up great. I mean, the animation is dated now, but I mean, I can go back and watch old episodes of that show, and it still blows me away how good that show was. And you know what? I think we can probably call it there. Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah. Think we can probably call it a day on that one. I am going to go into Adobe Premiere and try to do a little tweaking and polishing on the thumbnail for the Godzilla vs Kong review that I made before I realized the movie wasn't dropping this week. That was a fun one to make. That was a fun one to make. So yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Sorry about the confusion about the start time. When I scheduled the review, I put the wrong time in there by accident, and so yeah, there was some confusion there. Sorry about that. But thanks for tuning in. In the future, these things will most likely continue to be at 5 p.m. Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern every week. And I guess after Falcon Winter Soldier finishes, we'll be talking about Loki. And don't know if we'll do them on What If. Might not be a point with that. But yeah, I guess we'll do them with Hawkeye too when that comes out. And maybe Ms. Marvel too. Who knows? But thanks for everybody in the comments section. Thank you to all our super chatters this week. This was amazing. Blood8270, thank you for the $5. Sty Games, thank you for the $5. Musa's Descendant, thank you, with $4.99. Joe Cage 13, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, dude, but thank you for the super chat. Josh Kosh, thank you. Danny D, thank you for the $24.99. And Bear Business 1, holy moly, $40, $50, $10. $100 in super chats from Bear Business 1. Bear Business 1 has a permanent residence in the Super Chat Hall of Fame. Holy crap. Josh Kosh with another $2. Thank you. And David Serta, I hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you for the $5. Thank you to everyone for chatting with me for a while. I know my voice tends to sound like crap when I do these. I'm sorry. It's not really something I can control. But I do my best. And so I'm going to go drink some water. And, I don't know, maybe eat something. And then try to rest my voice before I have to talk about Batwoman again tomorrow. Kate's coming back. Oh, God help me. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys again real soon. So next week we've got the Batwoman review on Wednesday as usual, and presumably after that will be Godzilla vs. Kong, if it drops on the 31st. I think it does, but who the hell knows right now. So that'll be the next one. And then I'll see you guys for the stream on next Saturday where we talk about Falcon Winter Soldier Episode 3. All right, talk to you then. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for talking. Thanks for the super chats. And I will see you guys later. Take care.